Casual Sports Guys, episode 59, a Euro 2012 preview show. Kolby, Solinsky here. Today's show brought to you by Women's Studies. We're more than just a book club, Women's Studies. I'm joined by Canada's biggest Chelsea fan and a man who has never been west of Toronto, which bothers me greatly. Patrick Clare. Pat, thanks for being on the show once again.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I was just catching up on The Bachelorette. Have you been watching that, or?
No, I haven't been.
It doesn't seem like your cup of tea, but I think that you would like the single mom factor, but...
I actually read somewhere on the Daily Mail, so don't make fun of me.
I just saw that. I just saw the exact one.
So, trying to be socially mobile, like just trying to gold dig, I guess, is what the term is called.
Apparently she very quickly blew through the $350K budget for clothes. Which I get, like, I guess if you're there and they're giving you clothes, why wouldn't you take advantage of it, right? So, I understand, but, yeah, and I mean, if you haven't watched it, like, the single mom thing is great, because they just cannot go 5 minutes without mentioning that she's a single mom, and it's like now they have two contestants, like the men, who are single dads themselves. So... you know, good for the daughter, I guess. Like, now we all know who she is, but anyway,
Bring back Joe Millionaire.
I miss Joe Millionaire. Or what was the Aussie one? Do you remember that one?
No, I don't.
It was like Outback Joe or something. I have no idea. It was essentially just the exact same thing. I don't even know if he was really Australian. I think he might have come out after, but Euro 2012. I am so excited. In my opinion, like, this is better than the World Cup. And I used to say that, and I used to feel like I had to explain myself, like, you know, and then say, you know what, I'm actually surprised. I actually enjoy it more. But now I'm openly admitting it. I think most people are. It's better. 16 teams. Every game is close. Even games featuring Poland. If you get through your group, you only have 2 more wins, and then you're in the final. The group of death this year, maybe the best that I've ever seen, like, in any international tournament.
Sure, for sure.
Yeah. Are these groups planned? Because England and France, like, every damn time draw each other.
Yeah, I don't know if they have warm balls for that when they draw the teams, but I don't know. I don't really think so, but we'll see how it turns out. Because usually England's always playing Sweden, if you noticed.
And they are again too.
Yeah.
So yeah. That's cool. And the Ukraine, you know, good. Sorry, not the Ukraine. It's just Ukraine. I've been corrected on that before by Central Europeans. You know, I'm Polish, so there are pierogi partners, but yeah, I mean they draw the same group. And Poland, the home team, the home squad as well. They get, I guess, relatively the easiest group, but they're not even favored. Like, they're the 4th team in that, which we'll get to later. I do want to get to the group of death first, Group B, and I'm going to focus on Portugal, and I think that we'll cover off everybody when we do that. Ronaldo, Pat, I know that this guy kills you. His history against Chelsea and England, the 06 World Cup, I'm talking when he got stomped on the balls and then winked at Scolari after. He's almost so definitively viewed as the number 2 in the world that it comes off like a negative, right? Kind of like Ovechkin against Crosby. It's like, oh, because he's second, he's almost discredited, but the guy's numbers are still fantastic. He's just in Leo's shadow, even though they won the league this year. But he's tactical, he's strategic. It's like watching Rommel on a soccer pitch. What are your thoughts for Ronaldo and Portugal this year in that group with the Dutch and Germany?
Well, I think they're going to have a very interesting tournament. You know, Ronaldo had a really good season with Real Madrid. They finally won La Liga with the help of, obviously, Jose Mourinho. But I think he's kind of unfortunate to be born in this era because Messi is just so much better than him. But I do really like watching Ronaldo play. I don't really like his antics, but that's coming from a Didier Drogba fan. It'll be very interesting, though. I have Portugal actually tying Holland. I think they can get a result there.
Yeah.
They have a pretty strong squad. Obviously, Ronaldo is going to be key to get them goals because Luis Pastiga, he played in Euro 2004, so that's pretty old for a striker. And Nani on the right, he's on the brink of world class for me when he plays for Manchester United, but he just doesn't seem to produce week in, week out.
Yeah.
I really like Raul Morales in center midfield. He had a really good campaign for Chelsea this year. Obviously, it was crucial in the Champions League final. But they have some. They're pretty strong at the back, but they could be stronger at the back because they don't have any. They don't have Jose Bazingua or Ricardo Carvalho, who actually were essentially booted from the team by the coach Paulo Bento for inappropriate behavior. But
it's like BYU over there, eh?
Yeah, yeah. But I think personally, this group comes down to Denmark. No one's given really Denmark a hope in hell of really qualifying from this tournament. I know in William Hill they have the worst odds, but they have some good players too. Like Nicholas Benter can poke in a few goals, and this new Christian Eriksen who plays for Ajax. So the group is really going to come down to when you play Denmark, the three obviously big teams, Germany, Portugal, and Holland. They need to get that result against Denmark. But I think obviously Germany's going to win this group, but Portugal, if Ronaldo really plays well, I think he can. If he gets a couple of goals, I think they can move on because Holland is really vulnerable at the back. They have obviously great attacking threats: Jan Klaas Huntelaar, Robin van Persie, Arjen Robben. So they're very stacked up front, but they just don't have the defense at the back. So it's going to be very interesting. But I have Holland coming second, but I do have Portugal tying Holland. They have a very good record against Holland, the Portuguese do.
Yeah, and it's kind of funny. I mean, they might finish third, right? But it's not a slight to anybody that finishes third here because, and you know what, Denmark could finish third. Like they have a good history of destroying people's dreams. I mean, they won Euro. They I believe, if my memory serves, they knocked Italy out in 04, right? Italy didn't make it through the group stages. Denmark did. And they're not a bad team, right? Like, but I think that
Euro in 1992.
Yeah, but I think that they've kind of. It seems like a lot of people are I wouldn't say writing them off, but just I don't think that they're getting credit to actually move on, if that makes sense. Because there's a difference between competing and actually moving on. But yeah,
What's interesting is that Denmark actually won the Euro qualifying group over Portugal, and they beat Portuguese at the last game. So they have a pretty decent record against them.
Yeah, and I think Portugal and the Dutch are both kind of like the wild cards for that number two. I think people see weakness in them, and maybe it's just the fact that the two have a history of not finishing all the time. In Germany, they didn't finish in 08, but they were there, right? So,
but Portugal's had a couple good European tournaments and World Cups. The past four, they've won a lot of their groups. So
yeah,
a lot of people actually I know are pegging them to come out with Germany. Because if Holland can't get their issues at the back sorted out, you never know.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, there's no question. Well, that's why it's a group of death, right? So,